All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yes, yes. Dog days are numbered. Yes, we're making a difference. I believe we're making a difference. Just talking about it. For so long, nobody talked about it, especially during the days where there was no internet. It's harder to talk about how much you dislike dogs in person. Most people would never even try that. You don't know who is a dog lover, and most likely, most people are dog lovers. So, for the majority of time, the dogs have been pets in this country. People we're talking about well over 90% of the time, aren't we? People have kept dogs in this country as pets ever since the 1700s. Really, ever since people have been here, at least Europeans. Okay, they kept dogs as pets in Europe. Look at how long people have kept dogs as pets, yet there's been no massive gathering of people talking about how they can't stand the whole dog culture. This is the first time where we're seen in large numbers talking about it. And there's more than one area of the internet where people can find large numbers of people talking about it. Of course, Dog Free is a massive platform that's on Reddit. Okay, that's a Reddit group called Dog Free. But here, they see us in real time. It's different here. They see us in real time, dealing with real stories, recent stories. And of course, on YouTube, more recently, you've had more people who create content here on YouTube. So yeah, we're making a difference, and I'm happy about that. I feel good about that. It helps me to not lose faith in people, right? Because I was right there at the borderline. But anyways, I'm glad you all are able to join me. Doesn't this thing look so hideous, man? I cannot think of a more hideous, demonic, more than anything else. This thing's face looks demonic. The embodiment of a demon. There is nothing pleasant about laying eyes on this. It's unsightly. Look up the word unsightly. They're unsightly. Very difficult to look at. And when you look at them, dog nutters. Let me digress before I even get started, please. I'm sorry. I have to do this sometimes. When you look at them, what do you see that makes you call this handsome? Exactly where and what's handsome? Is it the fact that its skin is so excessive that it's hanging off of its skull? Is that what you consider attractive looking? Don't look attractive looking to me. This is so prevalent that many people have believed that this is how the dog's face is naturally shaped. And it's not. It dips down like this because it's excess skin. That's a mutation. These things wear their mutations boldly. Yet, people have been able to defend them and attack people like us, people who don't like dogs. They've been able to attack us on this basis, on this idea that this is God's creatures. You know, they almost invoke this authority over you. Oh, you don't like dogs? you evil devil. This is God's creature. How dare you dislike dogs? And it made it very easy for dog lovers to demonize anti-dog people. But now we know better. All it took was for us to get together and have discussion. That was it. Problem solved. There ain't nothing attractive, beautiful, handsome, or any other positive title that you could give to anything, dead or alive. All descriptions of a monstrous looking demon like this have to be negative if you're being truthful. But I digress. As I mentioned in the previous live stream, I want to talk about this story on this stream. This article broke today, a few hours ago, titled My Dad's Dog Bit Off My Nose. Now I have hair growing on my face. What? Trinity Rawls was attacked by her dad's rescue dog. See that? Rescue dog came from a shelter. And what do we say about it? Now look, this is not even her dog, people. Think about this now. Look at how indoctrinated. Look at how much these people are like zombies. This is dangerous from every angle, any and every angle. You get a adult bully breed from a shelter and you start putting your stupid face right next to it to take photos. Like, this is a photo that she took of herself and that dog. It's not even her dog. And she was still dumb enough, airheaded enough to put her goofy face right next to its face. And I bet you she did every other thing imaginable with this dog. Watch these people. If you ever get an opportunity, and I know it's difficult for anti-dog people, you get a minute, watch them. Watch how they interact with these things. They are very nervous. Quite often, they're very nervous. A lot of their excitement, the dog nutters, especially when they're dealing with bully breeds, a lot of their visual excitement, I'm talking about the person, a lot of their excitement is really nervous energy. Because they know that a severe mutilation is imminent, can happen at any second. A lot of that so-called excitement is nervous energy. I'm telling you, these people are just a combination of very bad nerves, neurological dysfunctions, and just sheer brain deadness. And on top of being brainwashed. That's the bad thing about it. Many of these people, I think, would have cognitive challenges, even if they were not indoctrinated by this nutter propaganda. I would suspect that they would have challenges. But on top of that, they're brainwashed by dog propaganda. There you have a pit nutter. A person who is not very bright from the get-go, which I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that that's the result of being a drug baby. I don't believe it's natural for as many people to be dumb as there currently is. I don't think that's normal. We know there's a whole boatload of people in this world addicted to drugs. Those addictions don't always stop when the mother's pregnant. There's a lot of dumb people in the world today. But you know the ones that are a lot dumber than others on average because they're pit nutters. They went far beyond being dropped as a baby. No, these people, I don't know, were probably electrocuted. Maybe they ate paint chips as a child or something like that. But I'll digress again. This woman, let's get into this. A woman who lost the tip of her nose. Attacked by her dad's rescue dog in September. She's had 4 surgeries so far and is due to get up to 6 more on her face. But one operation, a skin graft, left her with a big facial change. The skin graft was used from the top of her forehead and scalp, which means now she has hair growing out of the skin of her reconstructed nose. So this is not from a dog disease. Okay, she lost the nose because of the dog, right? The disease is irrelevant. And if you want, listen, we're about to deal with some nastiness, some dog nastiness. I know some of you dog lovers, you probably say, oh, haha, you thought IHD, you thought you were about to talk about how nasty and disease-ridden dogs are, but now you can't because this was not a bacterial infection. It was because they took skin from a part of her body that grows hair, and when they reattached it, the hair just continued to grow. No, we're still going to talk about dog nastiness. So get comfortable. We still going to deal with the disgustingness and infections, the nastiness involved with these mutts. I never run out of content in that regard, ever. There's so many diseases that you can really just focus on and then get statistics on how many people suffering from the side effects, which are several side effects. Don't get me started. Now, so this woman now got hair growing out of her nose because a goofy doctor took a skin graft from the top of her forehead where there is hair, excess hair. So the result is hair growing over your nose, your reconstructed nose. And guess what? It's still the result of a dog biting it off. How about that? Had the mutt never bit your nose off in the first place, they wouldn't have had to take skin from your scalp, and you wouldn't have hair growing over your nose. Just when you were about to throw a party over your dog and heap praises on Fido. Reality check, right? Her father's pit bull bulldog mix bit off the end of her nose, sunk its teeth into her arms, and dragged her on the ground. She said the attack was so out of character for the dog. That's what they all say. And if you were a smart anti-dog person, you'd know that. And you would have been nowhere near that dog and you wouldn't have hair growing over top of your nose, you wouldn't have a reconstructed nose, period. If you were smart like us, we sit in the balconies laughing at you goofy nutters, looking at our watch, waiting for the next goofy nutter to lose a piece of their face. Or more sadly, a child who has no idea what's going on, and you forcing them to live with a predator. Trinity's nose with hair after the skin graft. Well, look at you, Trinity. Yeah, you do have a bit of hair growth on top of your nose. I bet you still love that mutt, don't you? Oh, she's probably still a dog lover. And it was her dad's dog. They had this dog for about 5 years. She said it was like a great big teddy bear. Oh, I bet it was. Just like all the other bully breeds. That's what they all say. You see? This is how it works. We predict the future. And it's all based on your dumbness. That's sad. The anti-dog people, we're only validated by your stupidity. The stupidity of nutters. You want us to disappear? Get rid of your mutts. Problem solved. She said the dog was so lovable and really soft. Who calls a dog soft? Soft? Okay, let's not get into that. She said I would always go around and see him. And I even looked after him when my dad was out of town. Listen to that. That means she kept that butt. Every day, all day. How about that? Mutt still bit her nose off. Huh? Where's this lovable creature? Where's this big heart? Where's this harmlessness? The nutters on that video that I shared earlier, they said these dogs don't have no problem with people. Isn't that what he said? Yeah, they just sidestep stories like this. While visiting her dad's house, on the day the dog attacked her, she and her dog got in an argument, creating a heated environment, which they say may have triggered the attack. No. Nope. Dog's memory is not that good. It's not that good. They don't remember stuff like that. These are not elephants. Especially, nobody was attacking the dog itself. What argument? All noises are loud to dogs. People talk as if when they raise their voice, dogs are, oh, what's the loud noise? If their hearing is so much greater than ours, then just our normal tone is loud. Stupid mutts. Unless y'all, physically gyrating. The dog's too dumb. They don't know you having no argument. Now listen. She said, these kinds of breeds are very emotional. And putting them in high conflict and emotional situations isn't best for them. Animals can only communicate in so many ways. When she started to walk away, the dog attacked. She said, bully breeds are very emotional, and putting them in high conflict and emotional situations isn't best for them. Man, it's a never ending list of things that are not best for bully breeds. It's not best to raise your voice around them. It's not best to have conflict, to stand up, sit down, get too close, make a sudden movement, bend over to tie your shoe. Yeah? There's a whole list of things that's not best for them. Don't walk towards them in a straight line. Come at an angle. Don't pet them on the top of the head or on the tail. Don't do this. Oh, it's got a toy. It's got its food. Don't get too close. Don't move too fast. Don't walk too fast. Don't run. That's not best for them. Nothing is best for them. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like with pit bulls, you just better not exist. Just don't, because if you exist, you could look at them. And that's another thing that they say is not best for bully breeds. They don't like when you look at them. They take it as, but they'll look at you. Not a problem. Nothing is best for them. They'll attack you for anything. Okay, we got it. We got it. Add this to the list, okay? Of the long list we already have, please add this. High conflict and emotional situations. When she started to walk away, okay, her dad put her in a fetal position and tried his best to protect her. But the dog kept on attacking. Listen to that. How is that possible? It kept on attacking? No way. It had to have realized that it was attacking someone that it loved. Right? It was a big old baby, part of family, right? There's no way it could have launched a sustained attack. Yeah, it may have just nipped at you, but then quickly realized, oh, I can't do that. I love my family. But this is your testimony. You're saying that the dog continued to try to attack you. Even after the dog saw your dad trying to protect you. It was still trying to attack you, really? And you want me to believe that this thing loved you and was part of family? Okay, you're asking for a lot. You're asking for a lot right now. You see, I have to bend my imagination almost to co-sign with. I can't co-sign with that. That's not what love is. I don't know what definition of love dog nutters have. But what this dog did to her, it's in all dogs. It's in all dogs to do the same thing to their owners and anybody in the home. All right, shout out to them for blurring out the injury. This is cringe and embarrassing. You know what, nutters, could y'all please just find some other lifestyle so I can talk about something else? You know, I'd like to make a channel on UFOs and extraterrestrials. But I have to focus on things that are an immediate threat and that really a threat in more ways than we can imagine. Now listen, Mutt kept trying to attack her. She said the dog then latched onto her arm and look what she said. Began playing tug of war with it as if my arm was a toy and dragged her across the yard. Now, what have I said here on this channel? I don't need to get too excited. What did I just recently say on this channel? What have I maintained? As an expert who's been studying dogs for years, what did I say? I said, when these things attack those toys, they're practicing killing, sharpening their killing skills. Now listen, I did not come up with that. I was not the first person to point that out. We may never know who actually pointed it out first. It doesn't matter. Word is getting around. Yes, playing tug of war. Yeah, with its teeth. Yeah, it's playing tug of war, all right, with its teeth. Obviously, it can't use its paws. What does that mean? That means you're getting mutilated. Oh my goodness. Lord. Y'all have no idea how difficult this is to talk about. This is so cringe. Like, really? Y'all, why? You don't have to be this dumb. Y'all act like it's not cool to be smart and clean. Then suddenly, like a flick of a switch, the dog just walked away and sat on the porch stairs. Yeah, I bet it did. As if it felt like it hadn't done anything. And that's exactly how it felt. And it felt good to exercise dominance and get the taste of blood. So at that time, the dog felt very good. Understand that while it was attacking you, it felt very good. You know, literally, its brain started to release chemicals. It felt very good. That's how much it enjoyed attacking you. And we're supposed to believe that these things are love creatures, love bugs. The best example of love on the earth, you know. Oh man, I'm happy. I'm happy that the youth, the generations gonna come behind me, they're gonna laugh at that. There's no way they're gonna be a part of that. Regurgitate is goofy nonsense. All right. The attack only lasted a few minutes, but she said it felt like the longest time of her life. I bet it did. During the attack, it was like I was in and out of reality. Yeah, I bet. My fight or flight kicked in, but still knew what was happening to me. I knew I was getting attacked and being bitten, but only to a certain extent. I could feel the pain, but I had no idea about the extent of the injuries. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what adrenaline does. Yeah. She was left with injuries to her face, ears, and arms. Lost a lot of blood from her arm. So it was like a puddle in her hand. So I was taken to the hospital, and I don't remember much after that. My mom met me there, and she told me the doctors were literally putting their hands inside my arms because of how extensive the wounds were. And that is not an exaggeration. I was just watching or looking at some photos not long ago, earlier today. If you do a search, just Google search dog bite infection. There's like rabbit holes. When you search the images, you can find rabbit holes where all you find is photos from the operating table and you see how the attack victims looked when they first came in. The most gruesome images you ever want to see in your life. Nothing inflicts as much damage as dogs. The severity of the attack is far beyond what you can immediately imagine. And they, like I said, they always consider the severity of attacks in every other case that involves violence, but not at all, to no extent whatsoever, when it comes to dogs. That's a crime. Nobody can tell me otherwise. She said, what'd she say? Taken to the hospital. Don't remember much after that. And blah. I think she said something else crazy here. She was in the hospital for 4 days to start, but after going home for a couple days, had to go back for nose reconstruction. Aftermath of the incident has affected her. Her confidence. It's been hard for her to deal with the physical. I bet. Was it worth it? You know what? You'll probably say it was. This is what I'm saying, man. This is psychopath behavior, where you just don't care what happened to you. I don't care. I want to rub on it. Man, I don't want to rub on nothing that bad, where I'm going to risk something like this or much worse happening to me. I don't want to rub on nothing that bad. I'm not that desperate to rub on nothing. But you are, huh? Where you'll risk your own safety and the safety of your family. Now we're at the point where I'm asking, okay, are you well? Do you need to see someone? You know, when the discussion gets that far away, you're risking the life and well-being of your family. It's a lot worse when you do that. If you want to just risk yourself, most people are like, okay, whatever. It's your life. We can't stop you. But you have no right to endanger others, especially the helpless who can't control their own environment. The law is supposed to make you responsible for maintaining a safe environment. That's what the child endangerment laws are for. I mean, what do people think those laws are for? It's because kids cannot control their own environment. And it is wrong and immoral to create a dangerous environment for children to grow up in. To the point where they say, hey, that's illegal. We want to guarantee the existence of people born in the country. They're going to contribute to society. But they give a pass to these senseless killings and mutilations. You want to rub on something why don't you rub on something else? Does that not make more sense? It's so sad with these dog nutters. They don't even enjoy making sense. That's the sad part. You know, it is sexy to make sense. To speak clearly. It's not sexy to confuse people. To contradict yourself and be a hypocrite. Okay. She's dealing with the attack, the mental impact of the attack. She said, I don't sleep well anymore. I have flashbacks, bad fear of dogs. I'm on medication. I go to therapy to help me deal with my PTSD. That's a lot of baggage. You know, that's a lot to be content with, just to rub on something. There are a lot of things I can rub on. I can rub on an endless number of things in my apartment right now. Different textures and surfaces of various kinds. I don't have to pay, and I don't have to risk my life and well-being. But you, the genius, you think that's a smart thing to do? Yeah, let's get real. They go a lot farther than that. They essentially, these things, they promote these things to children more than anything else, as the best friends of children. And they do the same with bully breeds. Man, despite her life-altering facial changes and PTSD, she is focusing on the silver lining, a changed outlook on life. She said, having a near-death experience has changed my perspective on life. And I'm really grateful to still be here, as it could have been a lot worse. Although this has been a life-changing and horrendous experience, I am just glad to still be here. Now, hey, this statement right here, this was supposed to be her big statement. You know, this is the message from the victim. Okay, give a message to the listeners. What do you have to say to the listeners out there? She decided to say this, and she made sure to not say anything against dogs or dog ownership or against bully breeds, against pit bulls. No, she didn't even come close. Oh, I'm just happy to still be here. So she was attacked. She was attacked by a dog, and then she failed to give the proper message and advice. She didn't even reflect on the possibility of this being a child rather than herself. Never pointed out that she's going to avoid putting her face next to a dog's face, and I'm sure she let this thing lick on her and all kinds of things. This is just too much. Too much for me, man. So if you haven't heard about that or read about it, well, I just read the whole thing, but if you want to share it, I posted it in the chat room. It's a lot of people in here. What are y'all doing? What's today? It's Thursday. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Everybody happy? I'm happy too. Thursdays are happy, especially at the end of the day. Well, terrible. Yeah, it's horrible for something like this to happen. It's horrible. But it's even worse when you don't try to use this platform, when people are given an ear to you. It's important at that point to say the right things, to say something that would help prevent this from happening to somebody else or someone's child. That's what you say. That's what you're supposed to say. And these people just get up, oh, I'm just happy to be alive. That means she's still committed to dogs. I haven't turned my back. That's their way of, telling the dog nutter world, I'm not going to turn my back on dogs, on pit bulls. It's terrible, man. Terrible. How many of y'all remember this?
My name is Jim. and my dog ate my nose. I played a lot of sports growing up, but I really took to tennis. I was ranked 4th in the middle stage, which includes 5 states. I was very proud of that. Marlene and I met in the first day of college. We fell in love. We've been married 41 years. It was October 16th of 2015. I was playing golf that morning. Marlene was asleep, and next to her was our little dog, Zeus. I leaned in to kiss Zeus goodbye, and he startled. And I felt blood. When I got up and I looked in the mirror,
He startled. Startled? What was it startled for? It was just you. Okay, so no matter how much this thing supposedly loves you, if you get close to it, it might get startled and attack you. That's what you're telling me too? Yes, that's what you're telling me. And I'm supposed to pretend like this is smart? I'm supposed to ignore how dumb this is? And this was a small dog. Some of you lunatics have these big, massive bully breeds. Really? And they have the nerve to invite people inside of their home with plans on exposing them, allowing their dog to violate you.
I realized they had just taken a whole chunk of my nose off. I screamed, call 911. We get to the hospital. The doctors said, we're taking you into the operating room. We're going to sew this nose back on. Within a couple
That's a minor injury for a dog bite.
hours after reattaching my nose, it started to turn purple. I
Turned purple. Purple. Now you heard about it turning black. That's when it rots away. That's sepsis. All right? Listen to this dog filth.
spent 11 days in hyperbaric oxygen, and the tip survived, but the sides did not make it. There was a huge hole.
Man, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We gotta back this up. What's going on here? Look like leather. This supposed to just be a bite like a cut. Y'all notice this happens very often with dog attack victims. They get attacked or bitten, and the area where they were bitten, it don't look like no bite at all. It looked like their flesh is rotting away, like something eating at their flesh. This looked like it's like immediate staph infection. It's not just bite. The doctors and whatnot, they'll tell you the worst part about being bitten is the saliva. Y'all know they got that mind controlling parasite, Toxoplasma gondii. We're gonna talk about that. We gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about this right here. This ain't no bite. Dude, your nose started to rot. Yes, I'm sure he kept that dog. You see him defended it now. He kept that mutt.
Oxygen, and the tip survived, but the sides did not make it. There was a huge hole in the side of my nose.
He said the sides didn't make it. No, they rotted away. You mean they didn't make it?
If the tip hadn't survived, my only option would have been a forehead flap. Because the tip survived, the surgeons discussed the option of doing a cheek flap. The difference between a forehead flap and a cheek flap is that a forehead flap comes down from the forehead. It's very unsightly. And the doctors even told me, you're not going to want to go outside. It made much more sense to just cover that hole in my nose using a cheek flap. After the cheek flap surgery, I looked.
Now, a lot of people can't afford all these surgeries. There are a lot of people whose recovery is not as good as his. This the chance they're willing to take. They want to rub on these things that bad. You know, like I don't get it. Again, I don't want to rub on nothing. I'm not that anxious to touch, rub on, to look at nothing. I wouldn't even look at it. What is this?
Looked like a monster. The third surgery was to try to bring some shape to this nose, so they took skin from the back of my ear. At that time, they told me they had taken it as far as they could take it. I was shocked, because I was always thinking that the doctor was a plastic surgeon and he was going to make a...
Bro, your nose still look funny. Look at it.
Shocked, because I was always thinking that the doctor was a plastic surgeon and he was going to make a great nose. If you look at my nose, you'll see it's crooked.
That's how it looks now. That his nose grew back crooked. Like it healed crooked. It healed crooked. And I don't think they can fix it. Else they would have fixed it by now. Dude, this is not a sexy looking nose. You're not going to walk into a club and pull all the hot ladies with a nostril or with nostrils like that and a bridge of a nose like that. They're going to look at your nose and stare at it. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to date you. They're not going to lean in for a kiss, bro. And you willing to lose? I mean, women, they're willing to lose their beauty. Just totally hand it over. Jacqueline Duran come to mind, obviously. Brooklyn Curry. All because they want to rub on. Okay. You can do whatever you want. It's your face. Rub on whatever you want. Knock yourself out. I'm good.
Look at my nose. You'll see it's crooked. It's compressed on the left nostril. And on top of that, I got a...
He said it's compressed on the left nostril. Yes, it is, buddy. That was an accurate description of what you're working with. Huh? And that's terrible. That's terrible.
Crooked. It's compressed on the left nostril. And on top of that, I got to shave my nose because this is cheek skin.
Okay. So he has to shave his nose because, like that other young lady, I'll let him tell it. Let's let him tell it. What did you say? What did you say there, bruh?
It's crooked. It's compressed on the left nostril. And on top of that, I got to shave my nose because this is cheek skin that grows whiskers.
All right. That's too bad. That's too bad. They're willing to risk all that. Yeah. I mean, look, I've rubbed on dogs. I've pet dogs before. It wasn't that exciting. It wasn't exciting at all. I didn't enjoy the moment at all. I had rubbed on other animals before. It was a pleasant experience. Not so with dogs. And I was not willing to ignore how uncomfortable I felt around them. I'm not willing to ignore and pretend, oh, I love dogs. A lot of people do that. Oh my goodness. What is this? Y'all remember this?
A single mom of 4 is recovering at Ottawa Hospital's Rehabilitation Center tonight. She was the victim of a freak accident that has changed her life forever. An innocent game of tug-of-war with her dogs cost her both her legs and an arm. Health Canada says there have only been 200 cases of this type of infection in the world in recent decades. Ashley Burke has
200 in recent decades. A decade is 10 years. Recent decades, let's say 3-4 decades. Let's say 50 years. 200 cases in 50 years is a lot. That's enough where I'm not going to play around with that. You understand that? That's real. That's simple to understand right there. 50 years. Bust that down. I'm sorry. Let's break that down. He shouldn't have said that. Recent decades, huh? Okay. Now I gave him 5 decades. That's enough. 5 decades is enough. 200 cases divided by 50 is what? Okay? Or wait a minute. What am I doing wrong? 200 cases in 50 years. Let's run that back. 200 divided by 50. Okay. So what is that? How many per year? 50 years. Let's divide it by 50. Divide by 5. What am I doing? Divided by 5. Oh no. That's 40 cases every 10 years. Now, 40 cases, let's say worldwide, in 10 years. You okay with that? That's high. For something like this, that'll leave you like this. And the thing is, had they not cut her legs off and arms off in time, she would have died. She developed sepsis. That's what it was. That's what it always is. She caught, that's capnocytophaga. Oh, look, you see what that say? You see what that say? Do you see what it says? Really? So they did 200 cases in 25 years? What was that, 80? Okay. Look, you can do what you want. Here it is right here. Capnocytophaga. Canamorsis. Okay. It's sepsis. And they say it's common in dog saliva. Yeah, no wonder. And y'all really, okay, you could take the, listen, no, I'm not okay with you taking the chance. I'm not okay with dogs in society. Your dogs affect us. They affect us. Everybody. They affect everybody. Affect all our health. Affect our safety. Our freedom. Everything. And I'm not comfortable with that. So let me retract that. 200 cases. And that's worldwide in 25 years. People, we can't play around with stuff like that. No people can afford to play around with anything like that. People. Dogs should be illegal. It shouldn't take people like us to create content, to even have rallies. Something this dangerous should be illegal. I mean, these things are far more, and people, this just from the nastiness of the dog. We're not dealing with dog attacks. You can't find nothing more dangerous than dogs. I mean, what? I can't think of anything. Animal or machine or device, nothing. If you're talking about injuries, you got to compare dog attacks to simple stuff like falling, tripping and falling, which is not the result of being under an attack. It's like, listen, man, y'all think, it sounds funny right now. There will come a time where people look back at this era and laugh. They're going to be astonished at how dumb people used to. And it's crazy because we documenting it. It's being documented. It might stay documented. Oh my goodness. For 4, 5, 6, 1,000 years. Do you know how much time people are going to have to look back at this era and scratch their head? They're not going to look back at this era with pride, like, ancient Greece or whatever. No, it's not going to be none of that. They're going to wonder what happened. What were they going through? What was in the water? That's the kind of stuff they're going to wonder. That's embarrassing. We're leaving a shameful legacy. This is horrible. This is the worst thing you could do in this life. Do y'all not understand that? What is so hard to understand about that? This was a simple dog bite. I think I shared this in the members area a while ago. It's a dog bite. This is how it started. And it developed into this. They got full images. What is that? That came from a little nip up here. What happened? What was that? Something looked like it traveled to the interior of his palm. Does it not? Isn't that what it looks like? Doesn't it feel like there's a lot that doctors are not telling us? Or maybe a lot that the doctors themselves have not discovered and articulated. Can you imagine the future doctors who actually dare to take a deeper look into this stuff and what they're going to discover down the road? People, I'm telling you, they're going to discover things that's going to go viral. It's going to be far too outrageous to be in possession. I'm telling y'all, people, dogs are the worst, the lowest, most demonic, most unwanted, the worst for the universe itself to ever touch this planet. That's why all of the religious people's texts speak about them in a negative light. All the ancient cultures speak about them in a negative light. They're nothing, bring nothing but negativity, filth, disgustingness. You know, why do you think the Muslims have that belief that you need to wash your hands like 5 or 7 times? Where do you think that came from? came from their knowledge of stuff like this. They had seen enough people be destroyed at like the mere just saliva itself and nothing else. And they're like, what in the world is this? They started to view dogs as extremely toxic, which they are. They are. And let's not forget, the early European settlers here had an immense respect for Muslims. They were working side by side with Muslims. They have like this shrine or statue or bust or whatever of Muhammad in the capital or the White or some major building here. Where is that? They have had a much respect for the Muslims. And the Muslims, they wasn't having it with these nasty mutants. We got to be careful with that, man. I sanitize everything. Had this nasty guy the other day touching doorknobs and whatnot, walking through doors and licking his lips to get grip on paper. It's like, dude, really? We surrounded by filth, and this is dangerous. Now look at this. Research highlights the considerable behavioral and psychiatric effects of a mind-altering parasite. Y'all have heard about this before. Most of you have heard about this before. Central nervous system disorders caused by parasites in dogs. A number of parasites, including worms and insects, are associated with central nervous system disease. These parasites, people, infect people. You have to look into this. This Toxoplasma gondii, it's considered a mind-altering parasite. It is. People, it just is. There's no way around it. Brain inflammation due to parasitic infection in dogs. Dogs get a bunch of weird infections. Don't we know that? Weird infections and afflictions. Mango worms, ticks. And really, they're the most prevalent with like ringworm and all these different parasites. And we're dealing with parasites here. And they're full of mutations. The parasites and the other disorders that come along with being a mutant. They're not designed to fight off many of the things natural animals can fight off. In fact, the different infections and bugs, bacteria, viruses, they find a home in the creases and folds, the sagging skin overlapping itself. They find a home there, oftentimes getting infected. These are disease-ridden mutants. They should be the first kicked out of any country that is dealing with any type of plague, viral or whatever. This is serious. I Googled something earlier today. What was that? Brain, yeah. Was it mind? Yeah. Now look at this. What, you see this? Let me enhance the size here, if that helps or not. What is the behavior altering parasite in humans? Toxoplasma gondii seems to be almost everywhere. The microscopic invader is thought to infect up to 50% of people. Could this be behind the nuttery? Could it at least be reinforcing it, strengthening the nuttery, the propaganda? Could the propaganda be in place to sort of feed off or give the parasite something to feed off of? You know, it might make their belief in the nuttery more intense. For all, it is a dog parasite. Just like when those parasites infect mice and rats, they'll go out in space and confront predators with no fear, making the victim or the host dumb and numb to the threat that gave it the parasite, the original host of the parasite. Okay, you see it clear as day right here. It's that Toxoplasma gondii. That's in dogs. That's in dogs, people. Have we ever went over that? Here, look. Let's look this up right now. It can be passed from animals to humans. They claim that dogs are not the primary host. People don't believe that. Don't believe that. Don't ever believe them when they say that. When they talk about something being prevalent in humans that's zoonotic. Don't ever believe when they tell you that dogs are not the primary host. Yes, they are. They are just flat out lying. We've caught them in lies like that before. You notice how they do that with other things. Just like they say, oh, mango worms infect anything. Ticks infect anything. But you do research, you just Google them. All you get, the results you get is dogs. Stop it. People ain't dumb. Now, man, I'm seriously babbling right now. I have a lot to say. I've been missing out on a lot of stuff. Now, I wanted to really go in on that goofy documentary that I found. This one that I've talked about.
I know. They seem to think.
Wait a minute. That I've talked about in 2 live streams now. But we're talking about Toxoplasma gondii. Talking about a mind-altering parasite that makes the new host numb to the threat of the original host of that parasite. Am I saying that right? Or is it the other right way around? You're the host of the parasite, or the parasite is the host. However it goes. Does it make you sound like dumb? Like, do you get zoinked out and goofy along with it? I mean, look at this. Let me show y'all something right here. Man, this made my skin crawl. Look at the... I don't even know what you would call this, man. Watch this. And look at the behavior of this woman right here. Wow.
Okay, so we're back now in rural Italy. It's beautiful out here in Puglia. I'm saying it properly now, not Puglia like I was saying before. And what dog have we got here?
She's Lita.
Lita, hello. She's so broad, you know, she almost looks like American Bully. Because she's so broad, like she loves all that tickle, 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 tickle. And the love.
Now, people, I'm sorry. I need to rewind that. I have to rewind that. I wouldn't rewind that. I wouldn't watch that again if I didn't have to. That's not something that I would want to play over and over. But at that moment, there was something significant that happened that I know a lot of you saw. I've said these people are not oblivious to the threat.
Because she's so broad, like she loves all that tickle, 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 tickle.
You see how she jumped back when that dog turned towards her? See how scared she was?
Tickle, 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 tickle.
She jumped back just at the right time.
Tickle, 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 tickle.
Let me mute that. Let me mute that. That's what it looked like to me. She got shook. She suspected a bite was coming. While she's maybe it's the parasite. Could the parasite play a role in this? Can we blame the parasite for some of this nuttery? What is this? I don't even know what to call this.
Hello. She's so broad, you know, she almost looks like American Bully. Because she's so broad, like she loves all that tickle, tickle.
What? What's so pleasant about doing this? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never get it. I never get it. This what you're risking your life for? Your well-being for? So that you can do this? Just touch it? These people just willing to die just to touch it. Be around. Oh, okay. All right.
You know, she almost looks like American Bully. Because she's so broad, like she loves all that.
Oh, Lord, no. Yeah, she jumped back. Yeah. At least for a moment, she was uncomfortable. Boy, that's a difficult documentary. I haven't watched the whole thing. I still haven't watched the whole thing. Only bits and pieces. Now, shout out to somebody shared this with me. It's recently broke. Well, not recently. Recently for me. I didn't know about it. Where a husky, I think I have a video. I should have a video. Whoa. Let's pause it. We don't want to show the dog being hurt now, right? That's against YouTube policy. But the cops tased this dog, and they are said to have killed the dog. That was the result of tasing it. They killed it. Now listen to this. I don't want to show the dog. We'll skip past that. Listen to this.
Could have just grabbed him.
I could have just grabbed him. You didn't have to
He just attacked a bunch of kids. That's what the problem was.
Information.
They said you could have just grabbed it. This big giant husky that has attacked people. They say you could have just grabbed it and what? Been dumb like you? Could have just grabbed it. That's another way of saying you could have just put your stupid face right next to the dog's mouth, just like we do all the time. Because that's basically what they do, trying to grab it. You don't try to grab creatures like that. You shoot something at them. Only a dumb, brainless nutter willing to lose their face would try to grab a giant mutt that has already been attacking people. And they'll quickly try to make you feel guilty and sound like the guilty party for not willing to risk your face getting mutilated. Oh, you're not willing to put your face on the line, to grab it with your bare hands? Grab it. Grab a giant dog. I can't, man. I can't. Now listen to this. This video was recently posted a month ago. 16,000 views.
Information on this is very limited, but from what I found online, the dog did not attack.
He said information on this is very limited.
Information on this is very limited, but from what I found online, the dog did not attack anyone, and the officers killed the dog by using excess force through tasing it. What do you think should be done in this case with these officers moving forward, if these statements are correct? Should the officers be charged in the death of this canine as if a civilian killed a police dog, which can hold a penalty of 10 years in prison? Or should they remain free?
Okay. You get the gist of it. He continues to play, but you heard what he said. You heard what he said. He said information is very limited.
But from what I found online, the dog did not attack anyone, and
He said the dog did not attack anyone. Now you look at the story, and it's a different story, right? They said this dog was attacking people and kids, roaming around. Now, do you think cops just decided to tase a dog just for fun? Cops are dog lovers, big time, as we all know. Now look at how some of the biggest dog lovers are forced to deal with these things when it's their job to deal with them. Look at how often they have to neutralize dogs, and look at how they neutralize them. They're not grabbing them like a best friend. What are you talking about? They're in the heat of the moment. Cops are not trying to hear none of that man's best friend rhetoric. You don't see none of that in their behavior. They will quickly, without hesitation, point their gun at a dog and shoot it. You've noticed that? There's no hesitation whatsoever. They kill it. It's because they know it's all propaganda. They fully understand that. And as soon as they see the real natural killer come out, they don't hesitate to put him down. That's what it's about. So this dog, an aggressive husky, was seen writhing in pain after being tasered. Reports that the dog had been chasing a family with young children. Of course it was. Of course it was. Family sought refuge from the dog in their backyard, forced to use a piece of wood to protect themselves. Yeah, I believe that. That's what dogs do. As soon as they get loose, they look for someone or something to attack. We all know that. But, of course, on this video, there's a lot of dog lovers. I mean, it's a dog lover channel. Going through the usual. But I think their audience is getting smaller. Their audience is shrinking. Ours is growing. And really, I don't care if their audience is growing or shrinking. As long as ours is growing, yours is shrinking. Yeah? Shout out to everybody able to join me for these 2 live streams. This was a long live stream. I didn't plan for it to be this long. But shout out to everybody. Hope y'all doing well. And I hope y'all have a fabulous Friday and weekend. And I will chop it up with all of you on the next live stream. Hopefully, as we continue with this crusade.